Seventh grade, good morning. Welcome to Remote Learning 2020. My dudes, I'm very grateful to be with you remotely. I wish I was with you face to face. But on the bright side, you get to hear my voice, but you don't have to see my face. So that is a win, my friends. And speaking of wins, remote learning obviously presents some challenges, right? You can't just raise your hand and I see your hand and ask me a question, right? But remote learning also is going to prepare you guys really well for high school and college, because so much of what you're going to do in high school and college is going to be through a computer. Also, again, looking at goals to set for ourselves, like what an awesome opportunity this is for us to get better at using technology and for us to get better at things like typing, for example, which you don't get to practice as frequently in school. So keep an open mind, stay positive. Okay, this is brand new for your teachers, this is brand new for you. Everybody's just going to do their best, right? So stay positive. Your word of the day is nocturnal. So I would like you to record this in your notebook or on a blank sheet of paper. If you do this on a blank sheet of paper, please keep it in your lit folder or somewhere safe so that way you don't lose it. I don't want you to just waste paper every single day, okay? So hit pause and try to figure out the part of speech and definition of nocturnal. Okay, let's look at the picture. We have a nocturnal turtle. Okay. What part of speech is a turtle? A turtle is a thing. Obviously it's an animal, so it is a noun. And what kind of a turtle is it? It's a nocturnal turtle. Okay, so nocturnal is describing that noun, which we call an adjective. Let's look at this very bottom sentence. Diurnal, which means of or occurring during the day, is the opposite of nocturnal. Well, that pretty much gives it away. So that is clearly an antonym. Diurnal is the opposite of nocturnal. If diurnal is occurring during the day, then nocturnal is occurring during the night. And that is exactly what nocturnal means. Okay. For today, you should have a notebook or just a piece of paper. You can keep working on that same piece of paper. You should have a pen or a pencil, and you should have your lit circle book. Those are the materials that you're going to need for today's class. Go ahead and number that paper 1 through 9 or your notebook. All right. Just so you know, at any time if I'm going too fast, just hit pause on the video, okay? But I don't want to go too slow and make these videos way too long, okay? So at any time, just hit pause, all right? Today we're going to read a story, and we are going to practice point of view, and we're going to practice identifying signposts, skills that you are going to need as you are reading your lit circle books. So let's read this story. This story is called Milocutio the Miraculous. If you have watched any of the videos on my YouTube channel, you may have seen Act 1 of Romeo and Juliet and Googly Eyes. Milo plays a pretty important role in that play. If you haven't seen that, you might check that out. So anywho, this is the story about how Milo became Milocutio the Miraculous. Step 1, you're going to tell me what point of view this page is. Okay, there are going to be 3 pages, and you're going to tell me is it first person, third limited, or third omniscient. So let's get started. Milo! Spit it out! Not Mercutio! I screamed. Milo looked up at me, the whites of his eyes wet with doggy tears. Sock puppet Mercutio hung cockeyed from his mouth. Ah, Milo, why do you chomp everything? I asked, exasperated. So this whole page is told in one point of view. What point of view is that? Ask yourself, is this a narrator? Is this an I speaking? If you need more time, hit pause. Number 2. Mr. O looked down at the poor sock puppet, Mercutio. His sword was split. One googly eye was dangling like a loose shopping cart wheel. Like a loose shopping cart wheel? And there was a puncture wound straight through Mercutio's chest. How am I going to finish the play now? Mr. O thought to himself. Is he going to let me finish that sock? Milo wondered as he casually started sniffling. So this whole second page is told in a different point of view. What point of view is that? If you need more time, hit pause. Angela, quick! Get some gauze! Mr. O yelled. Mrs. O ran into the sunroom. Oh my gosh! The humanity! Mr. O started chest compressions. 1, 2, 3. We need more gauze! After 3 rounds of CPR and several rescue breaths, Mrs. O grabbed Mr. O's shoulder and shook her head. Mr. O didn't want to believe it. A feeling of dread filled his empty stomach. He was so young, he thought. So page number 3 is told in one point of view. Go ahead and hit pause if you need more time. Let's go back to number 1. Who is telling the story? Is it an I or a narrator? Is it an I saying, I did this, I said that, I did that? Or is it he did this, she did this? It's an I. The I is telling the story. This is told in first person. Very good. Number 2. First we ask ourselves, is an I telling the story? I did this, I did that? No, it's he or she did this. Mr. O thought. And so it's not an I telling the story. Rather, it is a narrator. So if it's a narrator, it's third person. And then we ask ourselves, do we hear just one person's thoughts or multiple? And in this case, we hear Mr. O's thoughts and we hear Milo's thoughts. So this narrator is omniscient. Omni, all, nascent, knowing. All knowing. We hear more than one character's thoughts. Final example. Again, we ask ourselves, is an I telling the story? No, it's not I did this, I did that, I say this, I think this. Instead, it's Mr. O yelled, he did this, she did that. So this is clearly a narrator describing what the characters are doing. And then you ask yourself, do you hear one character's thoughts or multiple? And in this case, we only hear Mr. O thinking, oh my gosh, Mercutio, sock puppet, was so young. And he was quite young, actually. He's only a few days old. So that's pretty sad. Moving on. Now, I have 3 signposts on this page. Number 4, 5, and 6 on your notebook. So I want you to record the 3 signposts that you notice, okay? Stop the inundation of your tears. It's just a scratch, Milo harumphed. Did you hear that? Mrs. O blinked rapidly. Was that Milo? Mr. O asked. Seriously, you humans are up in arms over a sock for crying out loud. Milo yawned. Mr. and Mrs. O's eyes widened. It couldn't be. And yet, those words came out of Milo's cute little puppy mouth. Go ahead and hit pause. Give yourself some time to try to find 3 signposts on that page. Seriously, you remember last week when you cried because you burnt the goose? Milo asked. Milo, is that you? Mr. O was astonished. Thou hast most kindly hit it. Milo nodded. Are you speaking Elizabethan English? All thine ears have not yet drunk 100 words of my tongue's utterance. Obviously. Milo licked his paw matter-of-factly. So go ahead and pause. There's only one signpost on this page. That's number 7. I changed the color of a certain word or two that might let you know what signpost it is. Hit pause if you need more time. Last 2 examples. Let's call your mom. She's a Shakespeare expert, Mrs. O recommended. So they called, and they outlined what had happened to sock puppet Mercutio. Mercutio's soul must have been a little way above Milo's head, and then it latched onto the nearest living thing, Mr. O's mom explained. You mean like a Horcrux? Mr. O questioned. Exactly. The only way to save Milo is to finish the play, Mr. O's mom advised. Okay, this page has 2 signposts, at least. Hit pause if you need more time. So, let's look at these first 3 signpost examples. I think something unexpected happened here. Milo started talking. A little unexpected. Dogs don't usually just start talking, especially not in Elizabethan English, in Shakespeare talk. When a character acts unexpectedly, we call that a contrast and contradiction. Very good. Now, did you hear that? Was that Milo? Those are questions. Those are tough questions. Those are difficult to answer because Mr. and Mrs. O'Brien are thinking, have we lost our mind? Like, what's going on? But no, they aren't losing their mind. It's actually Milo who's talking. Down at the bottom, Mr. and Mrs. O's eyes widened. They widened because they're realizing that Milo can talk. What signpost is all about realization? Aha moment. Very good. This one's pretty straightforward. You remember last week? It's a memory, okay? Talking about something that happened in the past. So it's a flashback that's a memory moment. Last 2 examples. What shows up again and again in this story? We've got the sock puppet that shows up again and again. I imagine you could say that the Shakespeare language shows up again and again. Okay. There are other things that probably show up again and again as well. But the sock puppet seems pretty important. And we have an older, wiser character here. We phoned a friend, if you will. And the older, wiser character gave us words of the wiser. My mom advised me to finish the play. And that's what I intend on doing. So stay tuned. Watch on my YouTube channel. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about your homework. Okay, you're going to read the next section of your book. I posted schedules online for each of your books. Okay, and I'm going to show you today how to find those schedules if you haven't already. So you're going to read the next section of your book. While you're reading, you all have a bookmark in your book. While you are reading, this is what I do, and this is truly what I recommend you do. Just jot down on your bookmark, page 55, C plus C. Page 71, A plus A, right? Just jot down the page number and the label, okay? You don't want to have your computer with you while you're reading. It's going to be a distraction. You don't need a notebook with you. I mean, you can, but to me, I want to be comfortable when I'm reading. So I encourage you to just use your bookmark. If you notice a really important signpost, something that seems huge, jot it down. But don't spend a ton of time. You don't want to interrupt your reading, okay? For homework, what you're going to do is you're going to record 1 signpost. Just page number, label, and very brief notes. All right, just like we did for the giver. And you're going to make 1 signpost discussion question. All right? So in the giver, I had you find 2 signposts and make a discussion question. I don't want to overwhelm you guys with work. Okay, so just find 1 signpost and then make 1 discussion question. Okay, and I'm going to show you what I want your homework to look like now. Okay, I'm going to go to Classroom and show you what to do. Okay, so I'm over here on Google Chrome. I'm all signed in. I'm going to go to 7A, although 7B is just the same. Okay, so you'll see I posted an assignment. And the assignment is called Lit Circle Homework. Okay, this is your first homework for Lit Circles. So I actually created a document for you. So you will literally just click on the document and it will pop up. Okay. All of your teachers won't do that. Sometimes I might say, hey, Lit Circle Homework. And I'll say create a doc. Okay. If it says that, then over here you're going to have to hit add or create. And you're going to have to actually create a new doc. If I said, hey, I want you guys to create a slideshow summarizing the first 3 chapters of your book, which I'm not telling you to do, but just as an example. You could click add or create, and you could create a slideshow, right? But anywho, I already have it assigned for you. You click on it, it pops up over here. So over here, this is where I want you to actually record the signpost that you notice. You only need to record 1. So let's say it's on page 5. No, page 15. The signpost was an aha moment, and Jonas realized that the pilot was lost or something. Okay, obviously our book isn't The Giver, but that's just an example. So that's all you need to do. Okay, if you would like to add more signposts, go ahead. Like, I'll obviously give you more points if you do more. To create a new like entry in the chart, you two-finger click and then you'll insert a row below. So I'll do that again for you. So to create a new row, if you want to add more, you can just you two-finger click like on the actual chart. It could be anywhere on the chart, and you'll insert a row below. Okay. You don't have to do that, but you are certainly welcome to. Down below, let's say the quote, I don't know. Jonas suddenly realized, wow, spelling. And make sure you write your quote the right way, right? Now, for the anchor question, I put all the anchor questions down here for you to make it even easier. So literally all you have to do is copy and paste. I will always do that for your homework assignments. If you forgot, copy is you highlight what you want to copy, and then you hit Control or Command C. And then to paste, you put your cursor where you want to paste, and you hit Control or Command V. Okay, Control V will be for the Chromebooks. Command V would be for a Mac. Okay. So how might this realization change things? And then you're literally just going to make it more specific. How might Jonas realizing that the pilot is lost change things? Okay, so that's what I want you to do for your homework. When you're done, you'll literally go up here and you'll just hit turn in. Okay, so pretty easy. If you don't hit turn in there, you should be able, no, you do have to hit turn in, so you will hit turn in, okay? If you cannot do your homework in a Google Doc because for whatever reason you don't have access to a computer that much or whatever the case may be, that is totally fine. Do it on a separate sheet of paper, do it in your notebook. Don't lose it because I will need you to turn that in, okay? So just have your parents email me. They could send me a picture of it. They could, they could message me on Remind. But if you're not able to do this, please just let me know, okay? And this is actually right here. Let me show you. This is a great spot to let me know that. Over here, there are private comments. Hey, Mr. O, my internet, although you probably wouldn't be able to tell me that your internet is down. Let's say I can't use my computer. My mom needs it. I will be doing it on a piece of paper. Okay? Now, this is a private comment, so this comment goes only to me, right? And this is the appropriate use of a private comment because everybody else in the class doesn't care that you can't use a computer. Does that kind of make sense? Okay? If you have a question that'll help the whole class, like, hey, Mr. O, I think you sent us the wrong thing. Or, hey, Mr. O, could you explain this? If you have a question that'll help the whole class, put it in the class comment. If you have a private comment, please put it in the private comments. Okay? I want to go back to the class page really quick. If you ever have a question, post it here. Okay? On the feed, please don't throw random spam onto the feed. We need this space so that we can get better at reading, writing, and speaking. Okay? I do want to show you. I've created a material for you. So materials look a little bit different than assignments. Assignments look like a clipboard, and a material looks like, I don't know, like a bookmark in a book. You can find the material on the stream, right? You can also find it in classwork. Your schedule, I sent you your schedule. So this is where it will tell you what reading is due when. You can hit view material, or you just click on the actual document itself. And this will tell you what pages are due when. Okay, so for example, Drums, Drill, Sanders, Pie, for Wednesday, you're reading pages 13 to 63. All right, and then that's due on Wednesday. And for each of the readings, you're going to record one signpost, and you're going to make one discussion question. Okay, and that's what this document is all about. Okie doke. Please let me know if you have any questions. If you want to work ahead, that's totally fine. You could record signposts. Like, for example, if you finish Wednesday's work and you want to do Fridays, you're welcome to work ahead. Just create a new doc and start recording signposts. That's fine. Or just do it on a piece of paper. Okay? If you do it on a piece of paper, just make sure you don't lose it because I will need you to turn it in. If you have any questions, let me know. All right? Love you guys. Stay healthy. Let me know if I can help you in any way.